Okay, hello everybody. Let's see. What day is it? Wednesday, November 3rd. Did anybody go shopping anywhere today? Spend money, or did everybody stay home? I kind of wanted to do a lot of stuff, but I was kind of feeling a little bit like that cold weather is starting to. So I was resting a little bit today. I made some chop suey, I think. That's what it's called. Yeah, tasted good. Let's see. Let's get on the redemption manual. I want to go ahead and share that so we can keep reading. So we were on page 50 and now we're on page 51. If you go back and look at the number 4 reading, because this is number 5, you can catch up to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. Hopefully my throat and everything will be good. Even the monitors on the vessels belonging to the people of Zion that could tap into the matrix computers could not pick up and locate Neo or Agent Smith anymore, even when Neo was aboard the vessel. Neo's dedication to and desire to serve the people convinced him that he had an opportunity to bring about a negotiated peace treaty with the Matrix. Agent Smith was converting programs from the Matrix into Smith clones. Agent Smith was even converting some of the people of Zion into Smith clones. Smith was creating a replicant army, a private independent army, from both the Matrix and the people of Zion that were not loyal to anyone except Agent Smith. If Smith was not stopped soon, his private army might take over this world. Neo realized that he could not defeat Agent Smith in a one-to-one battle. They both possess equal levels of power and energy. However, Neo devised a strategy guaranteed to defeat Agent Smith based upon Agent Smith's ego and hatred. Neo went to his enemy, the Machine City in the Matrix, to negotiate a peace treaty between the people of Zion and the Matrix. Neo did not have the approval of the people of Zion, nor its governing council, to carry out the peace mission. Neo was not invited by the machines to come to a peace treaty negotiation. What Neo did have was honor, logic, and consideration that could not be refused by either the machines or the people of Zion. Neo did not ask the machine world to give up anything. Neo took on all liability and responsibility in the plan to end the war by settling and closing the matter between the machines and the people of Zion. Did you hear that part? Settling and closing the matter. That's what needs to be happening with these court cases. Settling and closing the matter between the machines and the people of Zion. There was no risk to the machines, only the potential for gain. In any peace treaty, consideration must be offered as a means of persuasion to both parties to adopt concessions necessary for peace. The people of Zion were being physically defeated. No concession was offered to them except their own lives by ending the conflict. The machine world, or the world of commerce, had a problem offering persuasive consideration that could not be refused. Neither Neo nor Agent Smith was under the control of Zion. In today's world, this would be equivalent to a patriot who would learn how to be outside the system and not be under the legal control of the one world government. Pay attention. Knowledge to achieve this goal could be conceived to be a direct threat to the one world government system of universal control if the one who possessed this knowledge did not possess the character trait of honor. What if a person outside the control of government was a terrorist bent on destruction, such as Agent Smith? Would an all-powerful Agent Smith outside the control of government worry the system? You bet. What if such men were not terrorists or at war? Would there be need to worry? No. Neo proposed to the machine world that if Neo would neutralize Agent Smith so that Agent Smith could pose no threat to the Matrix, would the Matrix in return stop the war against the people of Zion and allow the people of Zion to exist in harmony with the Matrix? It was further proposed that those within the Matrix who wanted to leave and join the people of Zion be allowed to exit the Matrix peacefully. Isn't the proposed peace treaty between the people of Zion and the Matrix an embellishment of the second 13th article in amendment to the Constitution of the United States? There shall be no involuntary servitude. Aren't the people lodged in the Matrix the artificial 14th Amendment persons who are not living souls? Wow. Oh, wow, that's wild. Do you guys get that? Did you hear that? That's amazing. I'm going to read that part again. Isn't the proposed peace treaty between the people of Zion and the Matrix an embellishment of the second 13th article in amendment to the Constitution of the United States? There shall be no involuntary servitude. Aren't the people lodged in the Matrix the artificial 14th Amendment persons who are not living souls? That's heavy duty. If the people want to come out of the Matrix so that they do not have to serve as slaves, will they not gain the capacity of living people again? Can you see how the Matrix movie trilogy is a restatement of the history of the United States? Wasn't the peace treaty with England in the 1780s after the Revolutionary War a grant of ability of living souls to emerge from the Matrix government style system England has superimposed on the living souls of the colonies? Page 52. The only problem that Neo had in fulfilling his offer to remove Smith as an adversary to the machine world was how to carry out the task. Neo was incapable of physically defeating Agent Smith in a battle. Excuse me. You and your enemy. An enemy is an alter ego. When one fights a fiction or alter ego, it makes the fiction stronger. So they're saying that when you fight the fiction or alter ego, it makes the fiction stronger. The way to defeat a fiction is to stop warring against it. Become one with your enemy or the fiction. Let your enemy possess you and take you over. Huh? Since he is a fiction, he cannot defeat you. Oh, that's true. When you do not give him energy by fighting him. Oh, okay. The Oracle tells Neo that Agent Smith is Neo. Wow. He is Neo's opposite. Whoa. The Oracle tells Neo that within 24 hours, in one way or another, the problems would be resolved. Neo is to Agent Smith as the people of Zion were to the Matrix machines. Neo seeks life. Agent Smith seeks death. The people of Zion are living. The machines are dead. True. If Neo resolves the conflict with Agent Smith, peace will prevail and the machine world will end their conflict with the people of Zion. If, on the other hand, Agent Smith prevails against Neo, the people of Zion will be exterminated by their alter ego, the dead machines. The choice every living soul has in this world is, do you choose to side with that which gives life, or do you choose death? That's good. Man wrestles not with himself, but with God who is in us. In Scripture, the most famous Old Testament fight was the battle between Jacob and his adversary at Peniel. Jacob wrestled with him all night. Jacob was physically defeated. It was only when Jacob stopped wrestling with his adversary that he realized that he could win. In fact, Jacob learned that he was wrestling with the Creator, who appeared to be Jacob as Jacob's enemy. Who appeared to Jacob as Jacob's enemy. When Jacob stopped wrestling, the Creator praised him and renamed him Israel. That's cool. You guys, that's how we're going to get our new name. I'm just saying. Whoa. You know, name means character and function, right? So when we change our character and our function, not fighting anymore, we will have a new name. Just saying. So let's see. Where was I here? Okay, this name means God rules Israel. The Creator always tests us by bringing us an enemy to see if we will allow our enemy to give us a remedy by being at peace with him, or whether we will war against our enemy and be denied our remedy. One's enemies are always sent to you by the Creator as a test. That's interesting. I guess it depends on how we respond and how we react to see if we pass the test or not. The name Israel is not a name that belongs to a nation or to a race or a religion. It is a name of honor that is bestowed upon those who learn the lesson of serving and remaining at peace with those who might appear to be your enemy. Are you Israel? Neo's remedy to neutralize Agent Smith's possible threat against the Matrix, the people of Zion, and the machine world was to allow the machine world to plug Neo back into the Matrix. What? That's pretty wild. Whoa. Like that's sacrificing himself. By this act, the machine world and the Matrix would again have control over Neo. Neo devised a very simple strategy to defeat Agent Smith. Excuse me. He would fight Agent Smith as though Neo was trying to win. Then Neo would allow Agent Smith to defeat Neo and possess his body. When they would become one with each other in Agent Smith's victory, the machine world would shut down the Neo program running in the Matrix. This would also shut down Agent Smith whose DNA being joined with Neo's would perish. Remember, die in the matrix and you die in the real world. Think of the metaphor that Hollywood is describing here. Neo is a form of the Messiah. He came into this, not the world, the matrix, free and independent of the constraints and control of this world, the matrix. However, the Messiah, as did Neo, allowed himself to be placed under the control of this world as a man of flesh instead of a man of spirit. As a man of flesh, the Messiah died in the flesh. Neo was deleted as a program in the matrix while voluntarily subjecting himself to the world of the matrix. In the real world, the Messiah destroyed the man of sin or the man of flesh that is at war with the man of the true spirit. As such, the Messiah conquered death. Remember, to live, one must first die and be reborn in the spirit. In the movie, Neo placed himself in the flesh back into the matrix, or he became united as one with his adversary. A Satan is an adversary, Agent Smith. Agent Smith was indeed a Satan, in that he was interested in being the king over the dead instead of the king over the living. Public government today is a kingship over the dead, just like the Matrix was a system of political rule over the civilly dead. That's good. I want to read that part again. Public government today is a kingship over the dead, just like the Matrix was a system of political rule over the civilly dead. Neo defeated Agent Smith by acceptance of Agent Smith's war against Neo to defeat him. It was in this act of allowing Neo's enemy to defeat him that allowed Neo to win by not resisting. Interesting. Likewise, neither Neo nor the Messiah died to save themselves. They allowed the enemy, death, to take them so that they would be set free, as well as securing the freedom of their brothers from the adversary. Wow, that's heavy duty. Allow neither in the movie nor in real life. Neither in the movie nor in real life did the people of Zion ask Neo or the Messiah to carry out their acts of redemption in their behalf. That's true. The acts of Neo and the Messiah were both free acts of love and total non-commercial. In scripture, it is said that by one man, the first Adam, sin entered into the world and death by sin. In a mirror image to this, Paul in the New Testament said that by one man, the Messiah or the second Adam, the remedy to obtain redemption and salvation from sin also entered into the world. I'm going to read that again. The remedy to obtain redemption and salvation from sin also entered into the world. In the first Matrix movie, Neo first met the agents of the people of Zion at a place called the Adam Street Bridge. This bridge was a link from the first Adam to the second Adam. Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. There is a double witness to the redemption by Neo of the people of Zion and the Matrix. When Neo is possessed by Agent Smith and they are being de-resed by the Matrix, Neo makes a statement. He says, "It is done." Whoa. That's like saying it is finished. Wow. That's wild. Is this anything like the words that came from the cross in John 19:30? It is finished. Yeah, that's pretty wild. You see, a military society is also an ecclesiastical society. Oh, yeah, like the Jesuits, military hiding behind the cloth. In order to stop the democracy, mob rule, and turn it back into a republic, it takes a sacrifice or a redemption. Is that right? Is there any wonder why this world is not too happy with those people who speak of the process of redemption today? Because there's a bunch of mob rule. A lot of people want to be Democrats and have everything paid for them because they're trying to go for communism and socialism. The end is a grand beginning. In the closing scene of Matrix Revolution, we have 4 entities in the scene. The number 4 represents the things of the world. There is 1 animal, 2 persons from the Matrix, and 1 living soul. The scene opens by looking out on a city street on the surface of the plain. A young girl wakes up from a sleep on the sidewalk as though she were a bag person or a homeless individual. A cat walks the street toward her. As the cat moves toward her, there is a ripple vertically that moves through the visual scene. The ripple starts in the location of the cat and moves line by line rapidly from left screen to right screen. As the visual scene ripples, the green hue of the old world takes on the true colors of a real world. It is a sign that the old world, controlled by the Matrix and the machines, has transitioned into a real world where the surface of the plane again belongs to the living. The sky is blue again instead of darkened with smoke and pollution. Oh, cool. The sun is rising in the east. The scene shifts to a park in the city where the oracle is seated on a park bench with the figure of the architect of the Matrix walking toward her. The cat represents nature. By the ripple starting through the cat has just been reborn into one of its 9 lives. In other words, the cycle starts over again. The girl is the last exile from the old Matrix. She represents the true church or overcomer, or the first fruits of the harvest, who has been redeemed by the axe of the Messiah, Neo, into a new life. Oh, interesting. A life filled with peace and hope. The oracle represents the legislative character of the Matrix, or the controllers of this world, which establishes the mind of the plan of its activities. The architect of the Matrix represents the executive character of the Matrix, which carries out the plan of the Matrix. He is reactive and not proactive. Interesting. The final scene of Matrix Revolution is not an ending. It is a beginning. It presents an opportunity. The architect makes a snide remark to the oracle about whether she is happy that she got her way in helping Neo bring about a peace between the Matrix and the people of Zion. The oracle replies that she is happy. The architect then asks if she was not afraid of the consequences of her actions. She replies that all acts taken to secure honor face great risks. The architect then asks the oracle how long she believes that the peace will last. She replies, as long as they can keep the peace. Interesting. I am reminded about this nation in 1787. I was just thinking about this. When the founding fathers came out of the Constitutional Convention after proposing the Constitution of the United States as a foundational document of government, a woman asked them, "What kind of government have you given us?" The response was, "A republic if you can keep it." The Constitutional Convention was not an end, it was a beginning. That's true. A republic is built on a non-commercial foundation. Oh, where the people remain in honor and pay their debts at law. Oh. A democracy is when the people are in dishonor and the debts cannot be paid. Well, yeah, took away the money, so I'm just saying. A democracy is a military government constantly at war. Oh, yeah, I could see that. Like the Civil War, the war in Vietnam, the war on poverty, the war on drugs, the Desert Storm, the Bosnian War, the war on terrorists, the Iraq War, wars that never end. When the people of Zion came out of the matrix after Neo's redemption, the question was, how long could the world remain at peace? The question might as well have been, how long can the people of Zion live in a newly created republic that was provided for them? The answer was, as long as they could keep it. Do they understand what was provided for them? Do they understand that if they break the peace and go back to war, their republic will be destroyed? Do they understand that if they do not pay their debts, they cannot live in a republic? Probably not. It didn't take the American colonies very long to destroy their republic and be placed under a democracy or the rule of the matrix. The trilogy of the Matrix is basically a history of the United States of America told backwards. Wow. The people of the United States were redeemed in 1787. They were given a republic if they could keep it. Today, they are enslaved in a democracy without commercial liberties. The end of the Matrix trilogy existed in 1787. The beginning of the Matrix trilogy exists today. The story is told backwards. Interesting. To unwind the destruction of the acts of the people requires a redemption from the acts that got them here. The end is in sorts a beginning. That's true. For all of history repeats itself, and man is usually destined to repeat the mistakes of history over and over again, especially if they don't remember. If you were one of the critics that suggested that the special effects in the movie and the action was superb, but the stupid and mindless verbal gymnastics of the philosophical discussions between the leading characters was nonsense and unintelligible, then please take the blue pill and go back to sleep. You were just getting in the way of reality and you were preventing a solution, the solution. On the other hand, if you believe that the resolution of the problem came as a result of military victory and not as a result of non-commercial service by one who loved his brother, then you probably believe that the title for the third movie, Revolution, deals with war and protest, instead of dealing with a revolving revolution or a turning over of your mental concept to go to peace as a means of acceptance and working with the enemy to end the war. Oh, wow. Instead of working against or rebelling against the enemy and continuing the war. Wow. Freedom is the result of the fruits of acceptance. negotiation, and settlement by consent of the parties, contract, and never as a result of victory of war. Freedom is never without cost free, but freedom is not purchased with money. It is won on the field of honor, not battle. Your enemy is not your enemy. Your enemy is the other side of you, your alter ego. Your man of flesh who consumes and does not serve. Oh. Zion should be the private side, or the man of good. The man of flesh is the public side. You do not kill the man of flesh by warring against him. The man of flesh dies when the man of the spirit takes over by service. Oh, that's good. Snaps. See the pattern set forth in Genesis 32. Some miscellaneous notes on the matrix. The Merovingian is the equivalent of the Secretary of State. What? In today's governmental society. Whoa, that's wild. He has all authority over foreigners who interface with this world. Whoa. Neo did not seek a fight with anyone in the Matrix, especially the Merovingian. Neo had peace with the Matrix, Babylon, the world. Neo had adversaries in his own camp of the people of Zion and in Agent Smith. Neo served for love, not for remuneration, not for money. Smith, the name, means a commercial tradesman who sells himself for money in a profession. Whoa. Wow. Wordsmith. Neo redeemed the people of Zion, not with money to buy their liberty, out of love, service, and duty, not even at the request of the people of Zion. No one asked him to do it. Smith's purpose was to kill everything living. He was the king over a realm of death. Smith would first kill all the people in the city of Zion. Then Smith would kill all the people lodged in the cocoons in the matrix. This would destroy the machine world, which could not exist without the people's energy. Morpheus sensed the turn in the tide of the battle with the machines in the city of Zion before the war was officially over. He physically threw down his weapons and emerged from his protective surroundings when he saw the sentinels hesitate in their attack. He sensed that Neo had brought about the peace that had been hoped for. The train man was the commercial transportation link between this world and the world. The train man was controlled by the Merovingian, the Secretary of State, that approved all foreign commerce or the movement of the property and persons from the realm of the matrix to the world of the people of Zion. The train station was described as nowhere. It was between two worlds. Neo travels to the machine city to confront the machine leaders for a remedy in a vessel called the Logos, or the Word. And the Word became flesh to fulfill the job of redemption. Wow. That's wild. Respectfully submitted for your edification and consideration, Jack Smith. Here's a note. Neo came to understand what he had to do to stop the war. He went to the machine world and was asked what he wanted. Neo replied, peace. Neo then made an agreement with the machine world that if the machine world would plug him back into the matrix, Neo would go fight Agent Smith. When he and Agent Smith were both at their lowest point, the machine world could unplug their programs and destroy them both. This would destroy both the threat and the takeover by the agent Smiths. But in the agreement Neo made with the machine world, he said, if you agree, you must let anybody go free who wants to leave the matrix. The machine world agreed. Neo went to establish peace by agreement. Oh, not by going to war. Oh. Each accepts for value, honor, and discharge all fines, fees, taxes, judgments, debts, criminal charges, etc. And now understand that's just business. So right here, in the court cases, each accepts for value, honor, and discharge all fines, fees, taxes, judgments, debts, criminal charges, etc. Now understand that's just business. Okay, this is page 57, the creation of the state. The idea that the state originated to serve any kind of social purpose is completely unhistorical. It originated in conquest and confiscation, that is to say, in crime. It originated for the purpose of maintaining the division of society into an owning and exploiting class and a propertyless class. That is for a criminal purpose. No state known to history originated in any other manner or for any other purpose. Albert J. Knox, State of the Union. Whoa. Section 1, Historical Background, Concepts and Principles. We're on page 58. Page 59. Redemption. Here we go, folks. Note, any reference or inclusion to scripture in the following pages is to show the reader the nexus connection of the operation of commercial law from those times past up to today, to show that commercial law and the operation thereof is constant and operates in all that you do. The following pages are writings and thoughts from one of the gentlemen who brought this concept to the forefront. Many of these writings contain biblical references, which you may not have interpreted as he has done. The thoughts are extremely insightful, unusual, and deep, definitely meat and not for spiritual babes. It is suggested that you reference the following with the Bible and read with prayerful consideration, asking God for discernment and understanding as you read through these writings as a point of reference. Redemption is defined as the deliverance from the power of alien dominion and the enjoyment of the resulting freedom. It involves the idea of restoration to one who possesses a more fundamental right or interest. The best example of redemption in the Old Testament was the deliverance of the children of Israel, Americans, from bondage, from the dominion of the alien power of Egypt, Washington, D.C. Interesting. Zondervan's pictorial encyclopedia of the Bible. A, in the natural sense of delivering, see Luke 24:21, of setting Israel free from the Roman yoke, the expanded Vine's expository dictionary of the New Testament words. The commercial definition of redemption may be stated as the recognition and action taken to redeem the debtor and all the property pledged to take control, to file notice, to lien all the property, to restore rights, titles, and interests in property, to sever the commercial bondage and acquire the standing and capacity to discharge all fine, fees, taxes, debts, and judgments of the debtor and all commercial matters due to the U.S. bankruptcy, also known as national emergency imposed upon the people without full disclosure and consent. And salvation from the states or circumstances that destroy the value of human existence or human existence itself. The word redeemer and its related terms, redeem and redemption, appear in the Bible some 130 times and are derived from two Hebrew roots, PDH and GL. I don't know what that means. The thought used to describe divine activity as well. They arose in ordinary human affairs, and it is in this context in which they must first be understood. Oh, here we go. PDH is the more general of the two, the cognates of related meaning of Akkadian, Arabic, and Ethiopic. It belongs to the domain of commercial law and refers to the payment of an equivalent for what is released or secured. The verb PDH, unlike GL, indicates nothing about the relation of the agent to the object of redemption, which in the Bible is always a person or another living being. Its usage does not differ in cultic activity from that of a normal commercial transaction. In both cases, a person or an animal is released in return for money or an acceptable replacement. Exodus 13:13, 34:20, Leviticus 27:27, 1 Samuel 14:45, with Exodus 21:7-8, Leviticus 19:20, and Job 6:23. Now, GL is more restricted in usage and does not appear to have cognates in other Semitic languages. It is connected with family law and reflects the Israelite conception of the importance of preserving the solidarity of the clan. The Goel, redeemer, is the next of kin who acts to maintain the vitality of his extended family group by preventing any breaches from occurring in it. Oh, like skipping title, Thus, he acquires the alienated property of his kinsman, Leviticus 25:25. This is sounding good. Or purchases it when it is in danger of being lost to a stranger, Jeremiah 32:6 FF, Encyclopedia Judaica, 1972. Cognate is a person or thing related in origin. Underline, emphasis added. Here we go. Registration, Social Security. Luke 2:1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Registered. Registered as utilized currently also means to submit information into a book. It also means to surrender title. Wow. Example, the registration of your car, the right to vote. Wow. Or compulsion to register for the military draft. Whoa. Debtors, slaves on the plantation register. Sovereign freemen do not. Hey, when you guys have those meetings for sovereign and you want me to register, I'm just saying, hey, don't be doing that. Though in some cases it is appropriate as sovereign to register your debtor. Obedience to God. Acts 5:34-39. Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. And he said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed what you intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up, Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all as many as obeyed him were dispersed. And now I say to you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply you be found even to fight against God. Subjection. Romans 13, 1-2. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. I've heard that one before. Keep in mind, as it is our nature as men and Americans to defend and resist, you must learn to agree with thy adversary. Oh, okay, I get you. However, under the godly principle, you are to submit to God's authority, and to the public servants are to submit to your authority. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. For the people are above the government. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right. It's the other way around. Hello. You serve your God or belief structure, and the public servant is to serve you. That's right, his master. Oh, and that's the way it is, unless you contract with the government. That was funny. Present. Interesting. Romans 12, 1-2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, set apart, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, that's right, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. This is such a good scripture. I really like it. You know what it's saying? You know what this is saying, you guys? Well, here, I think Paul was the one that wrote Romans. He's saying, hey, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, which means set apart, acceptable unto God, be approved by God, which is your reasonable service. And don't be conformed to the world system, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. This is so good. I love it. We are to present ourselves, not be represented. Oh, this is good. Or as more commonly seen, represented in court by an attorney. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hearsayer, who is there only to represent the corporate fiction? Oh, wow. That's so true. In the administrative unit court. Wow. To administer the bankruptcy? Oh, and the pledges of the property to the state, and to compel take the revenue from the debtors' slaves of the plantation. Whoa, this is such a good one right here, you guys. If you go over this whole thing, you got to go over page 61. This is good. Here's represent. Luke 11, 46-52, or 46 and 52. And he said, woe unto you also, you lawyers, for you laid men with burdens grievous to be borne, and you yourselves touched not the burdens with one of your fingers. Woe unto you, lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. You entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in you hindered. Oh, that's good. He's talking about how they don't have a relationship with Yahuwah. They have not even entered into his presence, and they're hindering other people to enter. This pretty well speaks for itself. Firstborn of Egypt. When Moses led the Israelites, government agencies, out of Egypt, it was done with the killing, execution by an executive, of the firstborn of Egypt. Oh. In other words, under the execution of the law by the hand of the individual, the government was redeemed, but the individuals were never redeemed. Oh. Now with the second contract, the cross, the individual will be freed or redeemed by his endorsement of the acceptance of the offer contract, which is for both his and the government's mutual benefit. The attorneys or legal profession took the industrial society into the bar, British Accreditation Registry, and closed the door to the temple. Oh, not only barring themselves from entering, but barring and forbidding all those others to enter therein for redemption. Luke 11:46 through 52. Oh. Acceptance for value, the principal aspect of redemption. Matthew 5:25 through 26. Agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art in the way, court with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee unto the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. This is page 62, and I'm going to finish at the top of this because I need to get something to drink here. See also Matthew 27:11 and Luke 23:39 through 43. This is the cornerstone of the concept. Read and understand this verse, applying it to where we are today. Today's court system, as an example, only deals with two kinds of persons, creditors and debtors, masters and slaves. By accepting for value the presentment offered, we become the holder of it, and the roles being played out are immediately reversed. By agreeing and accepting with thy adversary, you remove the controversy. It is the controversy which brings life into the action in the courts. No controversy, no need to have a judicial decision. That's funny. So we'll finish this. I'm going to stop for right now, and I'll remember to get it on common law versus private law, page 62. Good night.